Won't have the typical countdown normally, so I'm just gonna hit play on the video and we're off and running. Here we go. Welcome back to the Back in Time podcast, episode 261. We're here talking a little Face Off. We've got JD, we've got Jeff. Welcome back to the show, guys. How we feeling?
Walking on sunshine, Kyle.
Got you in the intro, man.
I know, I saw it. I'm officially aboard. I have a full name.
Yep.
So gosh darn it, I'm going to fix my old name right now.
Updating.
Yep.
There we go.
Edit name.
I gave him an extra F. I was feeling generous, and there we go.
All right. Now, who do I make that check out to?
You can make that to me. I did think it would be. I thought it was cool at first because I've got 4 letters in mine. You had 3. He had 2. I always give JD 1. Hey,
he's brutal.
Hey, I'm in the middle. Back it off. Go back to your corners.
Hey, just for the record, you were late to a show where only Jeff was supposed to be late. What's the deal, man?
I was pouring the extreme stream into the toilet.
Introducing Mr. Thick Dick to Mr. Urinal Cake.
Well, some words you'll never get to say about yourself, but...
Well, all right. Feeling frisky, are you?
Well, let me bend over and tell you all about it.
Bend over and touch your toes.
Oh, this is how this episode's apparently going. So
I guess so. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah. No, they weren't.
Oh boy,
Jeff, how was improv, man?
It was good. Yeah, good lessons tonight. We worked on making eye contact and finding the core reason of the scene, and so it's very important in improv.
That's cool. Are you ever tempted to just go full Michael Scott and just go freeze, Agent Michael Scott?
You know what? Maybe when I first did it, but now I'm a seasoned professional of 6 years.
Yeah.
So now, and actually, here's a fun fact: improvisers actually hold guns like this. So not like you would hold a gun, but actually how you would hold the actual gun, not making a gun. Yeah. So much like a telephone, to go like this because you're holding a smartphone. You're not on the telephone. So
I would fail out in my first night.
No, that's okay. This is everything they teach you at Improv 101.
Give me all your money, folks.
Who are you talking to? Nobody.
It doesn't matter. So. That was a banana.
What's it look like you're making the hang loose sign? I thought you were on the phone.
I know.
Like, oh, what? Hold on, what?
Jeez, okay. Guys, the both of you. Okay, I see where the die is cast now.
Yeah, well, squeezing you out.
Yeah, well.
It's gonna eventually we'll start making your video box smaller and smaller until it's like
minimal. He can take away a letter. Like
a Tic Tac. Well, you know what that's like.
Hi, I'm Jay.
Freshen your breath. Open up.
Tic Tac, sir.
All right, well, the reason we're here, guys, we're talking some Face Off. That's the movie of the month. That's the movie that our audience voted for on the poll topic on our Twitter, which is at Back in Time Pod, shameless plug. And we're going to be talking all things about Face Off. I like to start these episodes off by talking about first memories. So, JD, I'm going to throw it to you first. What's your first memory of watching Face Off? 1997, 12-year-old little buckaroo. What do you remember?
I saw this movie in theaters with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that if I were a grandparent and it was 1997 that I would be like, yeah, I'm going to take my grandkid to see this action flick. I don't know that it's completely appropriate, but my grandmother thought it was, and she took our asses and she dragged us to the theater and we watched this mother effer.
Yeah, I did not see it in theater. I remember this being a Blockbuster rental, so I probably had to wait an extra year. I might have caught it in 98, which would have made me 13, which doesn't make my parents any much better. Jeff, what about you? Do you have any first memories of Face Off?
I do. I remember this movie specifically because I used to live next to an FBI agent,
Okay.
and he saw the movie and loved it. So I figured, well, if the FBI likes it, then it must be good. So action-packed, chase scenes, doves, flying capes, slow motions. Gotta love John Woo films.
Yes, you do. Very nice, Judy. For those who are only listening, when you could be watching right here on YouTube, he hit us with the old dove, which I like. Not sure I made that signal right, but hey, I think we all have some pretty good first experiences. Now, do you guys, around this time, obviously Travolta was already a pretty big name. From your memory, was this kind of the launching point for Nicolas Cage, or were you already picturing him as a big star at this point?
I pictured him already as a big star, and yeah, I mean Travolta was still flying high from Pulp Fiction, so
Yeah.
both great casting. All of these two could not see any other two face off against each other.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think Cage already had his corner picked. Being his lineage of his family, I think that his destiny was predetermined for him, and he just sort of took advantage of that in a great way. And now we have this amazing film that hopefully never gets touched or feckled.
Yeah.
What for those that don't know, the uninitiated, tell the audience a little bit about the Nicolas Cage lineage.
Is that to me? I mean, you can use your
Yeah.
words and direct questions to people. You don't have to just. If you're the, come on, Kyle.
Go ahead, JD.
He's a Coppola. He comes from a vast line of people, from Francis to Sophia to even Jason Schwartzman's, I think, in that line of amazing individuals that are talented.
Yeah.
Like, they've got more talent in the crust beneath their toenail than Kyle has in his entire being.
It's so true. Wait, what?
I'm forgetting my Yiddish right now, but Schmegel, is that the right word to describe?
Oh, Schmeckel. Schmeckel.
Oh. Doing my schmeckel.
I'm half Jewish, so I know. It's okay.
I boned up on Yiddish a few years back, and I just need to revisit and get some of those good terms back down into my vocabulary. But Kyle is a schmeckel. As a schmeckel, is a schmeckel. Schmegma, I think that's another one.
Okay. Well, just to piggyback off what you said, so his aunt is Talia Shire, who of Rocky fame, Adrian, and her son is Jason Schwartzman. So that is the connection.
There we go.
And she was also very good in the Godfather series.
Super good. Yeah. But I think we know her best as Adrian, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe. For most people. But yeah, let's jump into the original trailer. I've got it saved on here. I actually hit record and turned away. I have not watched this thing yet. I'm excited to see it here for the first time in 20-something years. So let's take a watch and then we'll react once it's done. Here we go.
I've been chasing this guy ever since I joined the force. He has no conscience, and he shows no remorse. He's the mastermind behind numerous bombings and political assassinations. He has a felony list a mile long: murder, arson, kidnapping, terrorism, you name it. He's the most dangerous and brilliant criminal mind I've ever known. For years, I've been watching him, tracking him, studying his every move. I know his every mannerism, facial tick, gesture. I know him better than he knows himself. And now, after all this time, I finally figured out a way to trap him. I will become him. don't care if I live.
You're not having any fun, are you, Sean? Try terrorism for hire. We'll blow some stuff up. It's more fun.
Plan B. Let's just kill each other.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeff,
Why don't
start
they
us
make-
off. Yeah, what'd you
Why
think?
do they make trailers like that anymore? I mean, I completely forgot, the first time seeing the trailer and the memories that just, the pan around as they start with one and they become him and then they show the action scenes. And that draws you right into the movie itself.
I love that opening shot, just the single shot on Travolta, and he's explaining who he is. He's rubbing his butt chin, and he gets to the end. And he's like, "I know how to finally get him. I must become him." And it's just like dun, 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 just right into the trailer, full action. Travolta, Cage, boom. Yeah, I'm in. Take my money. JD, what'd you think?
I'm tempted to call this a perfect trailer.
It's darn close. One of our better
Yeah.
trailers that we've watched in ages.
Everything
Absolutely.
everything about it hits home. And the part that I kind of like the most is, Jeff, what you were kind of getting at is in our modern 2022 spoon-fed bullshit movie world, you know everything about a movie going into it now. I know nothing about in seeing this trailer, I know nothing what this movie is about other than
No.
I want to see it.
Yeah. And even the mannerisms, as he started off as Travolta, but then finished like Cage. That's what. I'll fix my hair there. That's what really sold it for me. And they're like, "Wow, what's this?" And going in like that, it was really exciting.
I don't know what it is about Nicolas Cage's hair in this movie, but every time I see him, I think, "What did an Amish person cut his hair? What is going on with this hairstyle?" Like, was he just losing it quick? They just couldn't do much with it. I mean, he's right off of Con Air where he's got the locks. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, and he's even got that weird balding spot,
Yeah.
like where hair doesn't grow here and here, but just here.
Right.
And again, it's very thin, very frail. Now, again, with the movie magic, they, transfer, they take the face and the body and every, part of him to the other person. But still, the hair never made sense for me either.
Yeah. Travolta's listening to this going, "Dear God, don't talk about my hair." We won't. We'll leave that poor guy's hair alone. He's been through it. Let's jump into some box office numbers. That's a heck of a trailer. Let's see if it pays off at the box office here. So, Face Off was a June 27th, 1997 release. So we're looking at a summer blockbuster with an $80 million budget, distributed by Paramount Pictures. Runtime on this one, 2 hours and 18 minutes. So,
which was a little long for an action flick back in the day.
Yeah. So when we do that full episode, strap in, boys. Piss beforehand, if you know what I mean. Might be a long one. Now, the first week at the box office here, #1 movie in America, raked in almost $23.5 million at the box office. Week number 2, which was July 4th weekend, it would drop one spot, but it had another great week, over 16 million over the weekend, which brought their 10-day total to 51.5 million in the first 10 days. JD, thoughts on the first 10 days and the return on the face-off investment?
I'm a little underwhelmed by some of those numbers, but I'm just comparing it to modern movies where it's like when a Marvel movie just unzips its pants and just goes here. You're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars just streaming into it. So,
yeah, they did have some pretty stiff competition. Men in Black came out the next weekend, which we just covered. So that was going to be tough to hold on to that #1 spot. They would have been smart to maybe move this forward 3 or 4 weeks in hindsight here, but They probably figured Travolta, Cage, who the heck's this Will Smith guy anyway? What's he done? One TV show and Bad Boys. He doesn't scare us. They probably should have been scared. Yeah. Turns out pretty big star. Now, since you're new to this part, Jeff, I always ask JD if he thinks there's any schoolyard effect. JD, explain the schoolyard effect and how that works.
So basically, what we kind of judge a movie on is when we were little, you would watch a movie, you would go out to the schoolyard, and you would talk about it. It would be, guys, did you catch this movie over the weekend? First 10 days out, kind of like this, like, oh shit, no, I didn't see that. I need to go see it. So does it get a bump going into the weeks following its first 10-day out of the gate? And I unfortunately don't. Somebody
Sorry
disagrees.
about that.
No, you're good, man. Somebody disagrees with what I'm about to say, and maybe
That's
I'm
all right.
wrong, but I got to say, I don't feel like there is a schoolyard effect in play.
Ooh, what about you, Jeff? What do you think?
You know, well, I mean, I guess if we're talking school as in like junior high, elementary, yeah, I would have to agree. This is more of an adult themed action flick movie. So I would have to agree there with JD.
You're both wrong. Now,
Oh,
and that hurts for me to say that. I take
son
no
of a
joy.
bitch bastard.
Now, I will say this. Typical schoolyard effect, we want to see like more than 6 weeks inside the top 10. It had exactly 6 weeks and then pretty much out of theaters. So there wasn't a lot of staying power with this movie. It only lasted 8 weeks before they dropped down into like, less than 500 screens. But they did have 6 solid weeks inside the top 10. The movie would go on to gross $112 million domestically. International returns were great on Face Off, $133.4 million, which brought the worldwide total for Face Off to $245,676,000. And that's a pretty good take on $80 million. So we're looking at 3 times their investment back.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 international stars to begin
Yeah.
with. Plus, you're also forgetting, as you said, you both. Well, Kyle, you said that you saw this at video rentals.
Yep.
Back in '97, video rentals were huge. So
Massive.
even though if a money didn't make, a solid, I mean that movie made half of their investment back in the theaters. It definitely made it overseas, but they also made a nice chunk of change once it hit video rental status.
No doubt. And I think that's the one thing that is maybe, really hurting the industry now is they don't really have that third revenue stream anymore. Now it goes to Netflix or Hulu or HBO, wherever it goes, but they're not getting the type of return they were getting. Because when Blockbuster was buying 150 copies at X amount of dollars right off the bat at, however many stores they had at their peak, which was in the thousands, I believe. We'd have to go back to our Blockbuster interview with that director to get the actual number. But there's a lot of freaking stores across the country, and that's not counting, family videos and box office videos, and there's mom and pop shops. So they
Hollywood studios.
Yeah, they really don't have that third revenue stream anymore unless they get it, with like YouTube clips or something like that.
Sure.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, we get into the DeLorean here and actually go back to June 27th and talk about what was playing in theaters. If we could go back, is this a weekend that we'd want to hang out and catch 2 or 3 movies in a day? So I'll run down the top 10 list here. Number 1 movie obviously was Face Off. Number 2, Walt Disney's Hercules. Number 3, Batman and Robin was in week number 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Number 4, My Best Friend's Wedding. Number 5, how about this for Nicolas Cage? Con Air was in week 4
wow.
at the 5 spot. Number 6, The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Ugh.
Number 7, Speed 2 Cruise Control. Oh. Number 8. How about this for some staying power? In week 15, Liar Liar.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
There you go. Number 9 movie, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Not bad. And number 10, we haven't talked about this one before on the podcast, but a couple of my favorite actors from this time period, Joe Pesci, Danny Glover, Gone Fishing at number 10. My grandpa loved that movie.
Yeah, I could see a lot of grandpas liking that movie.
Yep. But I do love some Joe Pesci, man. He's fantastic. So now let's talk about it. Jeff, any standouts in the top 10 for you?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Val Kilmer, you have Chris O'Donnell, and then, of course, you have the very lovely former Mrs. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the way, just an awesome soundtrack. U2, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Seal, Kiss from a Rose. That's when, hey, for you youngsters out there, that's when people actually used to buy soundtracks to movies.
Yep. I'm gonna jump in and save you here, Jeff, or you're gonna get your first video from Pat correcting you. It was good old George Clooney as Batman in this one.
Oh, yeah. Batman and Robin.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Oops.
We haven't smartened him up yet about the videos that come if we get things wrong on the podcast. So.
Yeah.
We will get corrected.
I love the two of you just standing there. Let me just go on and on.
You were so passionate about it, man.
I really was. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit this one out of the park.
Yeah.
No, it was good, but it happens.
But Batman and Robin was Batman and Robin again shouldn't have been made, but that's okay.
Yeah. Equally as bad as Speed 2 Cruise Control, in my opinion.
Yes.
JD, how about you? Standouts. What did you think?
I don't know that I would say any of them are really standouts. I would be curious. What?
Con Air? Come on.
Okay, fine. Con Air but we've covered Con Air.
That's true. Well,
so Con Air. I mean, what? Yes, we did.
We didn't cover Con Air yet. We've talked a lot about Con Air, but we've never actually covered Con Air.
Didn't we?
We talked about it in the Nicolas Cage Top 5 episode.
Shit, I swear we covered it. Oh man, that's what happens with 260 some episodes,
kidding,
folks.
right?
You kind of forget where the hell you've gone. It's like driving down a dark road. You take a wrong turn. Dead.
We really need to make a list of every movie we've covered, every top 5 list we made. That way we don't. Eventually,
we'll get the insurance on it.
Eventually, we're gonna double up on something, and somebody in our audience could be like, "Dude, do you guys not realize you covered this movie?"
Do you remember when we almost did that a couple of years ago when we had it on the slate to do I think it was I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we're like, oh, we're going to do I Know What You Did Last Summer. And we did this last year.
Yeah, I'm shocked we haven't done that with a Halloween or a Saw yet. Didn't you guys cover this one last year? We're like, oh, shit. We thought we were on 3. We're on 4. Oh, okay. Yeah, man, for me, there's not a ton of standouts, but definitely Con Air. I don't hate Lost World the way you guys do. But I do love Liar Liar.
That's the third one, right? Just want to make sure I have the right Jurassic Park. That's the third one.
No.
Lost World. No. It's the second one?
Yes, the second one.
Oh.
Listen, Jeff, it's been a long night. You've been at improv, your brain's on overload.
Oh, it is. I guess of all the movies besides Con Air, Liar Liar would probably be then my second pick.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've watched Liar Liar?
I just rewatched it a year.
I want to say
a year ago.
2 or 3 years ago when they did I don't know, one of those, I don't know, specials on Jim Carrey and his movies or something. And every time I watch one of those, I just let's watch a couple movies I like from that actor.
Mm-hmm.
And Liar Liar's not bad.
Him and Jennifer Tilly are magic in this movie. They're just magic in this movie. And then the scene where he gets in the He gets in the elevator and
This pen is
she's like,
blue?
everybody's
Oh.
being so nice to me. And he just looks over and goes, that's because you got huge jugs. And she's like, oh. Door closes and
that
just
would be
smacks
your
the
memorable scene, Kyle. Come on.
Well,
That's
how
good.
I
bad.
remember that scene too. I'll back him up on that one.
As Creed,
Two eyes.
as Creed Bratton would say, swing low, sweet chariot. You know.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Fair. Maybe a future episode.
All right, let's move over to the critics. Let's talk about how the critics received the movie. You know, if we're switching from Schoolyard Effect to, Dad's pulling out the newspaper, he's reading the movie review section. Is this something he wants to check out? I triggered JD with the dad thing. Sorry about that.
Too soon?
He immediately was like, oh, I don't like that.
Ooh.
So let's talk about the critic response here. So as we always do in this section, I'm going to have JD riff off of this. Jeff, I'm going to give you the audience one, but JD's going to take a wild guess here at what he thinks the audience one is without actually cheating and looking at Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think, man?
Well, I've got audience or critic because you said audience to both.
Sorry, you got you have critic. Jeff's going to get the audience.
Okay.
Give me a number first.
Number 67.
Wow, that's low. Okay. Why so low?
I don't feel that in this time period the critics necessarily respected the way that an action movie would age the way that it needed to. And it had the star power behind it. And it had a director that had the beef to like make this like a spicy meatball. But I gotta say, like when Ebert sat down, he probably gave it a 2.5 and said, like, I enjoyed. It was no complaints about it, but I feel like they just didn't necessarily give it the critical acclaim that we in 2022 think it deserves.
Okay. All right. Jeff, give me a number first and let me know why you think it's the number.
For audience.
The audience.
For audience. Yep.
If I had to guess, I mean, I'm going to go like 85, 83-ish. Just because, again, you have two great action movie stars and you got one great action director. So that's what I'm guessing. Okay.
Well, you would be almost exactly right, Jeff, and JD, you couldn't be more off.
Well, I had to make up for the Batman thing.
Yeah. So here's the actual numbers for us. A critic response, 92% on the tomato meter.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Really well received. And the audience score, 82%. So we're all over it on that one. Now let's hear from a couple critics. JD said he thought Roger Ebert maybe wasn't so high. Would you say 2 out of 4?
2.5.
Okay. He's slightly higher than that. He gave it 3 out of 4 and said that he really liked the way that Travolta adds the spin and courtesy of Cage's personality, which Cage mellows in the direction of Travolta. He kind of liked them playing off of each other. So 3 out of 4 from him. Let's hear from a different critic. Good old Roger.
Gene Siskel or Gene. What's the guy with the mustache out in New York?
Oh yeah, New York. Where's he at? I'll find him. I'll find him. So,
I'm terrible with names.
Here's Gene Siskel, though, from the Chicago Tribune. He gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars and called it the best action movie of the summer. So
and he didn't see Men in Black yet, though, in fairness. Or no, maybe he did.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Who knows?
And we know he saw Con Air, so, I mean, that's a surprise.
Yeah. And then here's one from Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle in Texas.
Ooh, that's a big
one. He gave it 4 out of 5 stars and says, Face Off works like a charm, right on down the line thanks to brilliant, exhilarating performances from Cage and Travolta. So
I would think they'd use cattle instead of stars down there.
that would have been smart, right?
Yeah,
But well, missed opportunities.
absolutely.
Now what are they doing? Writing blogs,
Yeah.
tweets.
Or how many bang bangs are there?
Make sure you got to hold the gun.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna correct you now. Bang bang. Now, let's preview the full movie retrospective. So next week we're gonna be back. We're gonna be talking about Face Off, breaking it down scene by scene. Jeff, I'm gonna have you go first. What do you look forward to most when we dive into Face Off and break this thing down?
You know what? I think it's just the concept of the movie. Just physically taking your face off and putting it on someone else's body so you can go into the interwebs of their life.
I like what you did there, JD.
Thank
Very
you.
Nice.
No, I love that answer.
I'd like to take your face off sometimes. What are you looking forward to, JD?
I'm looking forward to kicking you in the nuts and then ripping my face off and putting it on yours so I don't have to stare at your ugly mug anymore.
On Friday? Kicking me in the nuts?
It's going to happen. But seriously, though, I love the action of this movie. Like, the set pieces are really great. The golden guns are fantastic. The names, I just everything about this movie. Like, I love that I was so wrong in my critic response, because I feel like I would give this, if I were a critic, of which I'm not, because nobody gives a shit what I say. Yeah, there you go. I would be up in the 90s for this movie, so I'm super stoked to revisit it. It's been a couple of years for me, which is too long.
Right. Yeah, it's been a couple years for me as well, and I'm just looking forward to like all the little like nuances that they steal from each other and put into the other's character. That's what I'm looking forward to, because I've never like specifically just tried to pay attention to that, to see like everything that they kind of steal. So I'm interested. We'll find out. And then thank you guys for listening to another episode. This is 261 in the another one bites the dust, as they say. Well, Queen said it, not me. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you're subscribing. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on the podcast platform, subscribe. Throw us a 5-star review. Follow us on social media at Back in Time Pod. Freeze, Agent Michael Scarn. And as usual, if you guys have any suggestions, movie ideas, get them in now. Especially if you have something you want us to cover during October. If you have a horror movie you want us to cover, throw it out there now. We're going to start making plans pretty soon because, Halloween is right around the corner. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. So any last words, guys? Anything else you want to get off your chest?
I can't wait to face off against you guys next week.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Can I just like interject a John Cena joke? Because he's always do, if you could even see him.
Right. It's hard to see him.
It's
the guy's
difficult.
invisible. It's very
It
difficult.
is.
All right. Let's end it there. Have a good night. Thanks for listening, guys. See ya. Ba, ba, ba.